Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a splendid box set on Supraphon consisting of the complete 8 symphonies of Miroslav Kabeláč. Yeah, the guy who wrote The Mystery of Time, one of the great 20th century orchestral works, without a doubt. And he wrote 8 symphonies, and they've all been recorded in rather good performances in pretty decent sound, actually. Here's the box. Here's the booklet. The booklet sort of tells us what's going on, and I need to refer to it because the 8 symphonies are all incredibly distinctive works. If you like The Mystery of Time, you're going to like these for the most part. Kabeláč's style... Kabeláč, well, how do you describe it? It's interesting. He had his own voice, without a doubt. So many of these composers do. And it's not so hard to hear it when these composers, when they know what they're doing, and he knew what he was doing. The symphonies were written from the 1940s through about the 1970s or so. And boy, what an assortment of things they are. I want to just sort of talk you through them a little bit so you get a sense of them, because they're all very, very different. But at the same time, he doesn't write melodies in the traditional sense, but he does have thematic ideas, and they're very distinctive thematic ideas. And the harmony, even when it's very intense and somewhat dissonant, is always, it has what you might call a consonant background. In other words, it's not painful to listen to. It actually captivates and expresses normal emotional states, or what's normal? Recognizable, shall we say? He was a very serious symphonist as well. I mean, these are intensely worked, somewhat brooding pieces. And given the fact that he was living at the height of communist Czechoslovakia, that he was able to get all this stuff played and recorded is kind of amazing, because very little of it could be interpreted as socialist realist. I mean, it really is. There are elements sometimes around, maybe the 3rd or 4th symphony where it's a little bit lighter and he gets a little easier to deal with, but no more so than, for example, say, Shostakovich in his middle period, the 5th symphony, the 8th symphony, the 10th symphony, works like that. It's fascinating stuff, and definitely worth exploring. Now, the 1st symphony is for string orchestra and percussion. Yay! Kabeláč was a tremendous writer for percussion. He had an imaginative sense of sonority, all his own. He wrote some inventions and pieces for percussion solo for Les Percussionnistes de Strasbourg, and they're wonderful, and they've been recorded too. Fascinating music. That's real music. I mean, it's really captivating, even though it's solo percussion music, and that's not easy to do. It really isn't. I mean, I'm a percussionist, and I'm not a fan of solo percussion music generally, because I think it's simply beyond the reach of most composers. But it's not for Kabeláč. He also liked primitive musics and music from other places, so that kind of stuff. So his influence in percussion writing came from cultures that he explored and experienced that also knew what they were doing, and so he learned very well. Now, Symphony number 2, where's that? I think that's just for a nice big juicy orchestra. Yes, it's a regular symphony from 1942 for large orchestra, and it's really powerful. Really, really good stuff. I mean, it's not long. None of these symphonies are terribly long. This one is 14, 8, and 14. Okay, 28, 30, 35 movements or so. 35 movements, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere in there. I think that's his biggest one. Number 3 is a very unusual work. It's for organ, brass, and timpani. And that's it. And you would not think that a symphony for organ, brass, and timpani is going to be all that appealing, because usually pieces for that combination are kind of like painful and irritating, but this is really cool. This is one of the few works I've ever heard for organ, brass, and timpani that's really fun to listen to. The use of the organ is so smart. The ability to capture the sonority and acoustic space in which the instruments are and balance the ensemble. It's a really good work in which the organ part is necessary and the brass part is necessary, and the melodic material is a lot easier to take than in the first two symphonies. I mean, it's a lot more ingratiating, which is always a good thing to do when you're going to be writing for the organ. Nobody wants to hear a piece where it's like, Children of the Damned, where you just go and like lean on the entire keyboard and the whole building threatens to shake apart from the acoustic overtones. It's not like that at all. It's really enjoyable to listen to and to hear the interplay between the instrumental and pipe organ ensembles. Just great. So then Symphony No. 4 is for chamber orchestra, and as I pointed out, it's a little bit lighter and zippier than the previous three, which are very, very serious works. It has a nice airiness to the textures, and it's not overwhelmingly long. It's 26 minutes for 4 movements. So that's not too tough to deal with, is it? No. 5 is absolutely insane. It's another big work, 38 minutes. It's for orchestra and solo soprano without words. I think whoever has the suicidal urge to do this piece deserves enormous credit, because this soprano is vocalizing her way on various phenoms, different sounds throughout the entire symphony, with almost never a rest. In the finale, there's a little bit of a break until she comes back at the end. But it's brutal. And the soprano here, I've got to tell you who the soprano is, because I don't know her, and she sounds absolutely amazing. I cannot believe that she does this. I mean, let's see. Does it say who it is? Yes. Lucy Silkenova is the soprano. And boy, she's a marvel. She's not screechy. She's not hard to listen to. And she has endless reserves of stamina, it seems. Can you imagine 40 minutes of vocalizing, hard vocalizing, with somewhat thorny melodies that don't have intervals that come naturally to you, and she's just out there doing it. And I was listening to this thing just going, when's it going to end? Not because I was bored, but because I couldn't believe that this woman could actually do it. And she does it, and it's astounding. Let's see, No. 5. That was called, by the way, it's called the Dramatica. Yeah, right. It should be called the Insanika or something. I don't know. I mean, it blew my mind. No. 6 is Concertante. It's for clarinet and orchestra. It's a wonderful concertante work. The clarinet part is absolutely brilliant and lots of fun to listen to. It's in 3 zippy movements marked feroce, lento, and presto, and it's half an hour long. And it's another wonderful workout for the soprano. I mean, the soprano for the clarinet, who is kind of like a soprano. It's a similar concept. Only with the clarinet, you don't feel as though the soloist is being tortured to death like you do in the Dramatica. And then let's see, No. 7. Well, No. 7 is the problematic one for me. It is setting text of the Gospel of St. John and the Book of Revelations and some other stuff. And it's for reciter and orchestra. And, I can't stand things for reciter and orchestra. I just can't. That's me. And it's in Czech, and they don't give you the words anywhere. So for me, it was kind of a write-off. I listened to it, and it does have wonderful pieces. I mean, the movements are titled Eternity, Human, and then Eternity, New Earth. Well, it's Eternity, Human, and Open Book, and then Eternity, New Earth. And it was supposedly the composer's artistic credo. Fortunately, it's rather brief, 22 minutes. And if you can stand someone yelling at you in Czech for 22 minutes, then by all means, give it a shot. The music is terrific. The music is great. I have no issue with the music, but it's the talking. It's the same thing in Bernstein's Kaddish and all those other pieces. You really need to be in a receptive mind, I think, to tolerate that. But that's me. Other people have no problem with it. And last but not least, there's No. 8, Antiphons. It's for percussion and organ on words of the Bible, and soprano, and mixed choir. And boy, is this scarifying. Whoa, baby. Now, the choirs and all the forces are arranged in different spots. It has a spatial element to it. And what really freaks me out about this thing, I mean, what does it sound like? Well, it sounds kind of like a mixture between Penderecki and Jerry Goldsmith's score for The Omen. I mean, it's really scary. And I wish I knew exactly what texts he was setting as his antiphons, because that would explain a lot about why the music is so intense. But, I got to tell you, it was written in 1969 and 1970, and it's about 28 minutes long in various sections. And I don't really care what they're singing about. You just listen to it. You just go, ooh, oh my. That's really that's really something. It's really powerful. And if you like the mystery of time, then you're really going to want to hear this, because Kabeláč was a very, very fine composer. I respect his seriousness, his craftsmanship, his unique feeling for timbre, his ability to create musical ideas that are very captivating, but by no means conventional. His ability to work in what we might call extended tonality, so that you can follow what the music is doing, even though the language is new and fresh. There's a lot here. This is a guy who had real substance, and the performances, which are by, the Prague Radio Symphony Orchestra under Marko Ivanovic, are really, really good and well recorded. It's marvelous that this is around and available, and you really ought to give it a chance if you're interested in good, serious contemporary music by a composer of depth, real depth, with something to say. You'll enjoy this. And again, it's on Supraphon, and I've been listening to it a lot lately. I really have, especially in the car for some reason, but also at home. And I can tell you, it's a journey, a real emotional and expressive journey that's worth taking. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.